again to the Precious Blood Renewal Center, and my name is Lucia Ferrara, and I'm Hospitality Director here at the center. And today we're in for a treat. And I normally don't make these, but maybe once or twice a year for special occasions. What we're going to make today is stuffed artichokes. So stuffed artichokes is real, it sounds really hard, but it's a super simple, really easy recipe that anyone can do. And growing up in an Italian-Croatian family, my mom would make this for Christmas and even at Easter sometimes. So anyway, it's kind of a little tradition that we make at Christmas, and I wanted to share this recipe with you. Keep in mind that there are different ways that people stuff their artichokes. Some people stuff artichokes with meat, like ground pork, ground beef, maybe even ground chicken. It's not something that I'm used to, but that doesn't mean you can't do it that way. So, but today I'm going to show you how to make stuffed artichokes the way I grew up on in our house. And so what you're going to need, and what I have here, you're going to need, if you want, now remember, artichokes, if you're going to serve, I don't know how many people are in your family or how many guests you're having, but typically it's 1 artichoke per person, okay? And then we're going to use some fresh chopped parsley, some fresh chopped garlic, about 1.5 cups to 2 cups, depending on how many artichokes you're making, of breadcrumbs. It could be Italian breadcrumbs or it can be plain breadcrumbs, so it doesn't really matter. Again, 1-to-1 ratio on the grated cheese. You can use any cheese of your choice. Today I have Romano cheese. You can use Parmesan, Asiago, Pecorino, whatever, you choose to have. And then here is my I've already chopped some parsley and garlic here. And you're probably wondering why I have 2 artichokes already in some lemon water. So I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm going to move this over. Okay, so we're going to take off the stems and we're going to kind of peel off some of the hard leaves of the artichoke, okay, here in a minute. And I've already done that, kind of prepped 2 of them already. So the reasoning behind letting them soak in water and lemon juice, a fresh cut lemon, and you just kind of squeeze the juice out of it and let them soak, is so that they don't oxidize. So you don't want that oxidizing to begin, because once you cut into the artichoke and you start peeling off the leaves and you take the stem, because this is the life of the artichoke. So the stem is what keeps it fresh. So once that stem is cut, it begins to oxidize. So, and the lemon and the water stops the oxidation. So, and if we didn't do that, then this whole top here would probably start turning black and brown. So we don't want that, because we want our artichokes to look really, really pretty. Okay, so before we start chopping this, I want you to go to your oven and turn it on to preheat at 400 degrees. Okay, and because at the end, we're going to put these in the oven for about 20 minutes at the end, okay? That's not where we're going to cook them all the way, but that'll be at the end, okay? So go ahead, I've already preheated my oven at 400. So let's begin cleaning the artichoke and prepping it. So I'm going to cut the stem, and you want to get it close to the base as you can. So we're going to cut that off because you want it to be able to sit like this when you put it in your bowl or plate or whatever you want to call that. And then see these leaves down here? These are tender, okay? And if you've ever eaten an artichoke, you're going to eat the leaf, but you're going to kind of eat the inside of it. So, and I'll show you that at the end when they're cooked. So the meat of the artichoke is found in the leaf, okay? So, and these down here are very, very hard. They're not tender, even when they're cooked. So we're going to start peeling the layers off, okay? So it's not hard. I know you're probably going, she's tearing off the best part of the artichoke. Let me tell you, no one wants to eat a tough artichoke leaf, okay? So I think that looks pretty good. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of, there we go. All right, so there you have it. Okay, now what we're gonna do is, now we're gonna cut these hard tips, and if you touch them, they're kind of pointy sometimes. So what we're gonna do to open the artichoke up, so we're gonna go about an inch in here, and you need a serrated knife for this. Okay, so you want to make sure you get all that off. Okay, so here it is. So now I'm going to open this up, kind of pry it up. Okay, then you're going to get to the heart, kind of the thorny parts in here. Not necessarily the heart, but so we're not going to eat those, okay? Because you just can't eat those. They're just too prickly. So we're going to take a spoon and kind of dish what we can out of them, okay? Doesn't have to be a lot, just kind of that center bit. Loosen those up a bit, okay? All right. I don't feel too many prickly ones in there, okay? So we're going to get rid of those, because see, you're going to stuff them, all right? Okay, so there's that when it's ready to go into my water. What I'm going to do with the two that are in the water now, we are going to take them out. Man, and these are going to be really good, guys. Okay, because it also, the lemon water tenderizes them a bit too. So I want you to look at how beautiful that really looks, okay? So I'm going to let those sit there and kind of drain. We're going to put this into the water, okay? Then we're going to clean out this one. Same thing. Going to take that stem off of it. Going to start peeling the hard layers off, okay? All right. And get close to the base of the artichoke as you can. Okay, that looks about right. I'm going to kind of cut this a little bit more there. And now we're going to cut the tip off here. Okay, there we go. I'm going to open it up. Once again, we're going to take that prickly part out. of the middle. That's not the heart of the artichoke, okay? So I'm going to get my spoon here, and we're going to start digging in there just to kind of loosen it up a bit. Okay, get all of that out. All right. This is a great meal, or you can use it as an appetizer too. But it's a great fun thing you can do with your family and kids at home. Okay, so there we go. There's your artichoke. So we're going to stick this in the lemon water. All right. And we're going to set this aside. And we are going to the stove, and I'm going to show you how to prep the breadcrumbs and the cheese. Okay, we'll be right back. Well, all right, guys, so we're going to prep the stuffing for the artichokes. So I'm going to drizzle some olive oil here in the pan. I've already kind of put, my gas is on, medium to low heat in there. Now we're going to start with our breadcrumbs. And you don't want the breadcrumbs to burn, okay? So but you want them to kind of toast, okay? And you want them to if you start smelling something burning, you've toasted it too long, okay? Now, and you don't be generous on the olive oil. You don't want it to be dry either. We're going to add a little more olive oil. You could see that the breadcrumbs are starting to turn color a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add my parsley and the garlic. Oh guys, this smells really good. Okay, so we're going to add the parsley and the garlic. This is a little dry, so I'm going to add more olive oil. Okay. Smells so good. All right. Put the cheese in last. And let that toast. You just keep stirring it. You don't want it to get brown, like I said. Okay. Well, we're going to let this brown up a little bit more, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I have been making sure that the stuffing, the mixture here of breadcrumbs and garlic and parsley do not burn. I've added about 4 to 6 tablespoons of garlic. I'm going to add my cheese now. Okay, we're going to save the rest of that for the topping. I'm going to turn that off. All right. Okay, we are ready to start stuffing. Okay. And I want you to add a little salt and pepper in there. I don't measure my salt and pepper. I just swish it on in there, okay? All right. Okay, we are ready to stuff our peppers. And while we're stuffing, we are going to put, now remember what we're going to do here with the artichokes is we're going to steam them in this Dutch oven for about 30 to 45 minutes, okay? So I'm going to add a little olive oil to my pot. I need you to add about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water. Okay, have some water on the side in reserve. And then whatever wine you're going to use to drink with when you're eating your artichoke, preferably white wine is really good. So we're just going to kind of put a little white wine into our Dutch oven here, and we're going to turn this on to about low to medium heat. Okay, and we are going to start stuffing our artichokes. So you're going to get your hands dirty, and what we're going to do, we want to stuff in between every leaf. Okay, so we're going to stuff, and we're going to stuff. Okay, we're going to, and be generous. This is good stuff, you guys. Okay, a little goes a long way. So we're going to stuff the leaf, kind of pull it apart. Okay. Gonna keep going around. Continue to stuff. Okay. Okay. Man, it smells so good in here. Okay, we're going to add some in there. You want to stuff just about every leaf. Okay. I'm going to put a little more over here. Here. Okay. Now, for the middle, we're going to add, okay. There's your stuffed artichoke, okay? So I am going to stick this in here, and then I'm going to stuff my other artichoke, okay? So again, same process. We're going to stuff each leaf and go round and round, okay? You may have to kind of tear it up a bit, okay? So you're just going to continue to do this for every artichoke. And I have going to put a little more stuffing in there. Some in here. This is the good stuff, guys. Now we're going to put a little here in the middle. A little more there. Okay. There's your stuffed artichoke. So we're going to repeat the process on all our artichokes and put them in here. And you're going to want to make sure that they stand up like this. And don't let the water run dry, but you're going to want it to come to a boil. Like I said, you want them to steam for the next 30 to 45 minutes. We're going to keep an eye on them. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff my other 2 artichokes, and then we're going to place the lid on there and let them steam, okay? All right, let's take a look at our artichokes. Oh, and they look great. So this is what I want your artichokes to look like, okay? They've been steaming. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the stove. And I had a little leftover breadcrumbs here. So what I'm going to do is, before we put them in the oven for 20 minutes to top them off, we're just going to sprinkle that extra breadcrumb on top. Okay? Because we're not going to waste. We're not going to waste anything. Okay? As you can see, we're trying to follow COVID-19 restrictions here, rules, and so I went ahead and took my mask off for the moment because I had it on. But anyway, so you're going to finish, just don't waste anything. So if you have breadcrumbs mixture, the stuffing left over, go ahead and sprinkle it on top of your artichokes. Now we're going to stick this in the oven at 400 for about 20 minutes. And then they'll be done. So do not cover them. We're just going to leave them in like that. Okay, I just pulled the artichokes out of the oven and they look amazing. So I want you to take a good look at how they're supposed to look here, right out of the oven. And I am going to dish one out, and how you know that the artichokes are ready is if you pull on a leaf and it starts to come up a little bit, then you know they're ready, okay? So I'm going to take this, plate it, okay? Take this one and we're going to plate it. And we're going to set the other 2 aside for my other guests that are coming. And what we're going to do is, I'll go ahead and get this one since it's kind of opened up. So how we eat an artichoke. Okay, so I have some melted butter here. Some people like to dip their leaf in butter prior to eating it, or they can save the melted butter. You don't have to have it when they get to the heart of the artichoke. So when you're finished eating all of the leaves and the breadcrumb, the stuffing, then you can either pour the butter on top of the heart and eat it that way, or you can take it, you know, on your fork and then dip it in the butter. And of course we have the white wine that we used to pour into the our Dutch oven. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a leaf, and there's the meat of the leaf. Now it's going to be hot, and what you're going to do is you're just going to scrape it with your tongue and your teeth like this. It's good. So that's how you eat an artichoke. So you, like I said, you're just going to take the leaf, going to eat it. Scrape it. Delicious. Okay? Have a little wine. Very, very good. So what I wanted to leave you with this Christmas season is it's all about traditions and family and getting together with friends. And I wanted to share this Bible verse that I know all of you have heard it before. It's from the second book of Luke, chapter 2, verses 8 through 15. It says, "The night there were shepherds were staying in the field nearby, guarding their flocks of sheep. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord appeared among them, and the radiance of the Lord's glory surrounded them. They were terrified, but the angel reassured them. 'Don't be afraid,' he said. 'I bring you good news that will bring great joy to all the people. The Savior, yes, the Messiah, the Lord, has been born today in Bethlehem, the city of David, and you will recognize him by this sign. You will find a baby wrapped snugly in strips of cloth lying in a manger.' Suddenly, the angel was joined by a vast host of others, the armies of heaven, praising God and saying, 'Glory to God in the highest heaven, and peace on earth to those with whom God is pleased.'" So I just wanted to leave you that little bit of scripture here, because this is why we celebrate our Christmas, the season of loving and giving, kindness, and the birth of our dear Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So I want you to go to the table. Come with me to the table. Come on over here. Let's have our stuffed artichokes and our wine. And so, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Buon Natale, e Felice Anno Nuovo.